Morning, everyone, and welcome to The World Today. I'm Hong Na, live from Beijing. Our top story, China's continuing modernization is partly based on accelerating the strengthening of its educational system. Authorities are now briefing the media on developments in this area and will take questions. Let's go live to the scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to this press briefing. Today we hold this meeting of building a strong education system to meet people's satisfaction as a series of press briefings. And this is the 19th press briefing, and today we are pleased to have Minister of Education, Mr. Huai Jinpeng, with us today to have exchanges with you with the topic of a strong education system that meets people's satisfaction. We also have Wu Yan, Vice Minister of Education, Deng Chuanhuai, Director General of Department of Policies and Regulations, and Liu Zicheng, Director General of Department of Comprehensive Reforms, with us today. Now let's give the floor to Huai Jinpeng. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the press, good morning. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for your attention and support to the education system in China. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you how we implement the guiding principles from the party's 20th National Congress. We know that a robust education will make a country more prosperous. Priority on teaching and education is the fine tradition of China. Since the 18th Party's Congress of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core makes education as a priority. And we have made the major decision to modernize education and build a strong education system. We have scored historical achievements and paradigm shifts in the education system. Now, the largest education system is built in China. And now China is moving towards the middle high end of the education system in the world, laying solid foundation to build a strong education system. The 20th Party's Congress has made clear guidelines to build a strong system in 2035. General Secretary Xi Jinping presided over a group session of the CPC Central Committee Political Bureau and delivered a speech charting the way forward for this goal. The leading party members group of my ministry has also borne in mind two establishments and the characteristics of building a strong education system with Chinese characteristics. And we have based our actions on theoretical study programs and translate requirements of the General Secretary and the aspiration of the people to mechanisms, programs, and practices. We have several points to make. First, bear in mind the basic mission. We need to know whom we should foster talents for and what kind of talents we should foster. We need to foster virtue through education, this basic task of the education system, in order to make sure that the course of the party and modernization of China will be carried forward by future generations, and we will integrate the political education with Xi Jinping's thoughts on socialism with Chinese characteristics into classrooms and textbooks. And we will implement the project of forging inner strength of the new generation, overarching political education program, and education of the core socialist values. And we will help students follow the party and its guidance and implement well-rounded development and help students to better improve their physical vigor, aesthetic sensibility, and work skills. And we will implement reading program among youngsters and mental health education program. When reducing the burden of homework and after-school tutoring for students, we will help students better develop their exploratory and creative qualities, laying a solid foundation for their well-fledged development. Second, strengthening high-quality system. Now, the education system at all levels have been developed greatly. A flexible education system is optimized for 1.4 billion Chinese people. We will stick to people-centered education system as a lifeline for education at all levels. And we will lay a solid foundation for basic education, prioritize higher education, develop vocational education, and build a country of learning with lifelong learning for all. And the teaching nurturing is the foundation of China's education system. We will develop teacher training with Chinese characteristics, and we will foster public respect for educators and encourage public support for education. We will learn from other countries while also apply our own experience to other countries in order to build China into an important education center. On July 28th, the University Students' Games will be held in Chengdu. We welcome young athletes from around the world to come to Chengdu to fulfill their dreams. Third, we will focus on core functions of China's education. Supporting China's path to modernization is the core function of the education system. Now, we have around 2.4 billion. We have 240 million students, and the average age of schooling of students reaches 14 years. And in several areas, including breakthroughs of key technologies, we have made great contributions. We will increase the ability of high-quality services and build China into a center of talent. And through education, we will help people live a better life and make our country more prosperous. We will launch the Higher Education Comprehensive Reform Strategic Program and make pilot reforms in improving talent cultivation quality for innovative talents, and in resource allocation of education and coordinating national strategy and regional economic social development, we will also implement pilot reforms. And we will prioritize developing strong disciplines and world-class universities with Chinese characteristics. And we will also implement important programs to cultivate specific talents and weakness, such as insufficient cultivation of high-quality innovative talents, will be solved. And we will organize universities to conduct R&D and make groundbreaking and frontline technology breakthroughs. And we will also cultivate province-specific and city-specific industry education integration, industry teaching education. And fourth, we will energize education. We know that it will take systematic efforts and is a qualitative change to transform from a big country in education to a country with a robust education system. Educational evaluation will play a guiding role, and we will turn around utility-motivated education and integrate education fairness into all sectors of educational comprehensive reform. And the backbone teachers will teach at different schools, and educational resources will be available at the doorstep of the public. and around 37 million students from rural areas will have better resources of teaching. And the height of students have been increased by 4.2 centimeters for male students and 4.1 centimeters for female students. And the gap between cities and urban areas, regions, schools, and populations will also be bridged. Therefore, students will have fair and higher quality education. And we will also implement the National Education Digitalization Strategic Action, build a smart education platform, and better make full use of the largest education resource library. We will build a national digitalization big data center and open up new arenas through digital education, and make it as a breakthrough to have new advantages, with great support to educational modernization and the building of a strong system of education. Now the floor is yours. My colleagues and I are very pleased to take your questions. Thank you. Thank you. Now the floor is yours. Please identify yourself before you taking questions. With CCTV, the report to the 20th National Congress stressed that education, technology, and talent are the foundation and the strategic support to build a social modernist country in all respects. And the fundamental of these elements is talent. What's your consideration in improving our ability to nurture talent at home and cultivate first-class innovators? Thank you for your question. I will take it. The public and students in China have an interest in this issue. General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out in the report to the 20th National Congress that we will continue our efforts to cultivate talent for the party and the country and comprehensively improve our ability to nurture talent at home. On May 29th, General Secretary stressed at a group study session of the CPC Central Committee Political Bureau that we need to strengthen our cultivation of innovative talents at home to better support breakthroughs of key technologies in order to make it and implement the guiding principles of the 20th CPC Party Congress. Our ministry will better integrate talent cultivation, education teaching, and development of our country. There are 5 points I'd like to make. First, foster virtue. We foster virtue through Xi Jinping's thoughts on socialism with Chinese characteristics on a new era. We improve the integration of political education from schools to universities, and we also implement lots of programs that I have mentioned at the opening remarks. We improve the education of political education system in schools and help students follow the guidance of the party, especially in deepening comprehensive reform and helping primary education play a foundational role. We have strengthened basic research talent cultivation through programs like Excellent Talent Program and the Strengthening Foundation Program. We have helped the students to better develop their ability in basic education subjects. We now have relied on 77 high-level universities and their 288 basic subject cultivation bases, and we have attracted around 10,000 excellent students to develop their ability in basic subjects. And we have strengthened research of basic education while cultivating talents in this respect. Second, we keep an eye on major services of our country and strengthen the cultivation of high-level talents that our country needs. We have built 18 national excellent engineer academies and the innovative academy. We have improved the industrial teaching integration, and we have also built a batches of excellent doctor schools in order to better cultivate high-level doctors. And we have also improved the subjects, including medical, agricultural, and liberal arts subjects. Fourth, we have strengthened cultivation of philosophers and social scientists, and we have worked with relevant departments to better cultivate talents on foreign-related rule of law, international communication, and international organizations. And we have also implemented subjects on Chinese political and legal practice, journalism and communication, economy and art. And we have cultivated high-level talents on archaeology, intangible cultural heritage, foreign-related rule of law, and international organization. We have also focused on cultivating master craftsmen and highly skilled workers. Now the largest vocational education system has been built, and vocational schools cultivate around 10 million high-level professionals every year. And we will further integrate vocational education system, help the vocational education system be more flexible, and provide support for the vocational education in China. Next question, please.
里边那位男士，前排。
谢谢。封面新闻记者提问：建设教育强国龙头是高等教育，下一步教育部如何
And the education system is a priority of us. How will you deepen the educational reform? And what's your point on the universities with special characteristics in China now? I'm very pleased to take your question. General Secretary pointed out that higher education is a benchmark of China's education. In order to better fulfill the role of higher education in developing education system, this year we have made higher education improvement program as one of the 9 programs for higher education. First point, make higher education more innovative. First, we need to help students be more innovative. Second, we will help our education be more independent with great support and guiding a role for the building of education with Chinese characteristics. As Minister Huai has said that 2 pilot programs will be made. When improving quality of talents, we will make pilot programs improving their quality. Second, we will make pilot programs in better integrating educational system with the development of our country. And there are 3 points of this program. First, we will cultivate high-level talents in an organized way, make innovation in an organized way, and integrate China's development with important industries, and help the education develop in an organized way. And we have 3 integration. First, vocational education and basic education integration. We have integrate vocational schools in China with higher education universities in order to cultivate high-level talents. Second, The education system covers industrial supply chain and the value chain, and this is an important part of our reform. Third, science and teaching integration. Frontline scientific achievements will be written into the textbooks and will be taught at classrooms. And the high-level scientific research will be an important part in the cultivation of high-level talents. And we will also strengthen 3 points. First, we will be target-oriented and implement important missions and tasks of our country. We will also be problem-driven. We will make specific and tailor-made policies at different schools and provinces. Third, we will keep an eye on results. We will make provincial and ministerial strategic cooperation agreement a leverage in order to work with relevant provinces to play as a leading example in the education system. When implementing the program, we have also focused on 3 areas. First one, we will better play up our advantage compared with other countries in our universities. Second, we have made efforts in breakthroughs of stranglehold technologies. Third, for disruptive technologies in the next 10 to 15 years, we have conducted forward-looking research in this respect. And we also have taken efforts in order to take advantage and have a leg up in improving the cultivation of talents. As the Shanhe University you have mentioned, now the education system is entering into a new stage, and we have new challenges in meeting the education demand. My ministry has taken into consideration the reform and the policy, as well as people's demands, to better allocate educational resources. Provinces in central and western China will have better educational resources. Next question, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask a question about the high unemployment rate among youths in China today, specifically as it relates to the education system. And my question specifically is, to what extent do you view the unemployment rate of more than 20% among youths in China today as a reflection of any weakness, for example, in the higher education system in China today? Are there areas, or are the graduates of Chinese universities being equipped with the skills they need to enter the workforce? And what areas, in what areas could you improve this? Thank you very much.
请翻译一下。
华尔街日报提问，我的问题是有关现在中国大学生失业率高企的问题。现在中国大学生失业率高达20%，这是否反映了高等教育体系当中的一些缺陷？现在中国的高校正在做出怎样的努力，帮助大学生获得就业的技能？在哪些领域还可以改进？谢谢。
好，谢谢华尔街日报的记者。Thank you very much for your questions. I think that's also very important for society, for students and their family. 对于这个问题呢，我想请我的同事
As for this question, I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Deng Chuanhuai, to answer your question.
怀部长的话再翻译一下。
您的问题非常重要，我们也关注到了这个问题。我们今后会就这方面加大努力。下面请邓传怀先生回答提问。
好，感谢这位记者朋友的提问。
Thank you for your question. College graduates are valuable human resources for the party and the country. In 2023, 11.58 million college graduates will enter the workforce. The Ministry of Education resolutely implements the requirements of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council. This year, we will focus on promoting the Employment and Entrepreneurship Promotion Action Plan for college graduates. This action plan can be summarized into 6 aspects. First, we will create more jobs. We will guide universities and colleges nationwide to visit enterprises and create more job vacancies. We will continue to carry out the campaign to invite enterprises to the campus, maintain the popularity of campus recruitment and graduates' participation, and better match the supply and demand of campus recruitment. Second, we will speed up the recruitment process. We will cooperate with relevant departments to accelerate the recruitment of civil servants and in positions in public institutions, state-owned enterprises, and among others. We will also launch a number of projects, for example, by promoting job creation in western areas of China, and also a special plan for hiring college students as doctors in rural areas. Third, we will make the policies known to the public and will implement it. We will compile employment and entrepreneurship policies and local promotion policies and explain to graduates and employers to help them understand and make good use of the policies. Fourth, we will improve guidance services. We will strengthen the tailored employment guidance for graduates who have not yet employed, and organize various internship and training activities to help graduates adjust expectations, dispel anxiety, build confidence, and find a job as soon as possible. Fifth, we will focus on providing assistance to key groups. For example, we will implement a one-to-one assistance system and an ambition assistance plan, which will prioritize 2023 graduates in the training programs. And also, we will provide more than 3 job suggestions for students in rural areas based on their situation. We will also hold a series of recruitment activities that graduates are welcome to participate. Sixth, we will ensure sound services before and after graduates leave the campus. For example, after they leave, the education system will continue to provide employment services for unemployed graduates on a continuous basis, including job suggestions, employment service, and assistance to key groups. We will also work the human resources and social security departments to ensure that public employment services are readily available for graduates who want to get employed. And recently, we have conducted reform on the supply side and deepened the integration of education and employment, and and closely follow the employment situation. And also, we have set up a feedback mechanism on the employment of graduates. All these efforts can better meet the needs of the society. It is the duty of the education system to promote the employment of college graduates. We will work 24/7 and race against time to help more graduates to get employed. We hope that employers can absorb more college graduates to build their talent reserve. We sincerely hope that the whole society will work together to contribute more to promoting the full and high-quality employment of college graduates in 2023. This is a very good question. I would also like to take this opportunity to add further information. First, this year we have 11.58 million college graduates, which is higher than last year. And China is now pursuing high-quality development. To achieve that, we need a huge amount of talent. Employment of college graduates is not only a personal matter, but is also followed closely by the society. General Secretary Xi Jinping pays close attention to the employment issues. Based on the statistics on July the 2nd, the employment rate is up by 2.3 percentage points compared with the same period last year. I think that we have indeed achieved a lot in this regard. The over 11 million college students will also contribute their wisdom and strengths to the society and also to research and development and also social development. So I think that the employment of college students is a matter that we need to make great efforts on to ensure the employment of college graduates, especially those from poor families and in rural areas. The Ministry of Education is making utmost efforts to help college graduates. For example, we provide them with at least 3 to 5 job suggestions so as to inject driving force for economic and social development. And second, education and disciplines should also meet the needs of college graduates. We need to work to ensure that the supply and the demand can match. That means there will be new requirements for the layout of the education system. This is also a very important matter. The college students need the skills to help them get into the workforce, and we need to help them get those skills. And now, young people have a different view of employment from people from 10 years ago. For example, I asked one student, and he told me that he don't need to necessarily return to his hometown, and he is ready for flexible employment. And the other one told me that he has got a number of offers and he can wait to see which is the best for him. All these young people are ready to contribute to the society. And we also like to thank the society's support for the employment of young people. Many people have seen the benefits of the talent to the growth of enterprises and the society. And they are working in a concerted manner with the education system to promote employment and to promote the well-rounded development of people. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Next question, please. With Hongxin News. To accelerate high-quality balanced development and urban-rural integration in compulsory education is clearly set out at the 20th CPC National Congress. What will the Ministry of Education do to achieve this goal? Thank you for your question. I would like to invite Mr. Liu to answer your question. Compulsory education concerns every family. In 2021, all counties and districts in the country passed the evaluation of the basic and balanced development of national compulsory education. It is a milestone that means China's compulsory education has entered a new stage of development. According to our plan, most counties across the country will achieve high-quality, balanced development of compulsory education by 2035, and arduous efforts are needed to achieve this goal. We will focus on the following 5 areas. First, we will overcome shortcomings and promote the standardization of schools. We will implement the project of standardizing the construction of compulsory education schools, promote the construction of school buildings, teaching equipment, and build up the size of school classes in compulsory education schools to meet the standards and create a good teaching, cultural, and living environment. Second, we will improve urban-rural integration in education. In light of the changing demographics, we will rationally distribute urban and rural schools, strengthen the building of boarding schools, and promote the building of a community of urban and rural schools, and effectively improve the quality of rural education in rural areas. Third, we will promote the balanced allocation of teaching workforce. We will begin job rotations among principals and teachers, promote the reform of school recruitment of teachers under county management, improve the supporting mechanism for job rotations, for example, by taking teaching in rural schools as a prerequisite for applying for senior titles, and an advantage in the selection of primary and secondary school principals. And we will give awards and support to schools that train and dispatch backbone teachers to rural areas. We will also strengthen the training to improve their teaching capabilities. Fourth, we will use digital technologies to promote smart resources sharing. We will make good use of the National Smart Education Platform for primary and secondary schools, build a digital education platform featuring interconnection, joint contribution, and sharing. Fifth, we will promote equity and institutionalized care in education. We will implement the policy of exempting students from entrance exams to attend schools nearby for compulsory education and provide education to schools of migrant workers living in cities and other special groups, so that all children can enjoy quality education. Recently, the General Office of the CPC Central Committee and the General Office of the State Council issued the opinions on building a high-quality and balanced basic public education service system that focuses on the above 5 aspects. We will take multiple measures to deliver on these tasks. Actively work on high-quality and balanced compulsory education at the county level, steadily promote the national supervision and evaluation, and ensure the overall realization of high-quality and balanced development of compulsory education by 2035. Thank you. Next question, please.
With 21st Century Business Herald, we noticed that the Ministry of Education has implemented the National Education Digitalization Strategic Action last year and borne fruitful results. Smart Education of China won the UNESCO Prize for the use of ICTs. And what's your next step in implementing this action? Thank you for your question. I'm very pleased to take this question. Digital education is an integral part of education modernization. In February this year, we held the World Digitalization Education Conference attended by representatives from 130 countries. At this conference, I briefed educators and the relevant staff in the education system with China's insights in this respect and our practices. Based on our practices in the past decade, the Ministry of Education has implemented the National Education Digitalization Strategic Action. Focusing on application service, efficiency, and security, we launched the online platform of Smart Education of China. And we have put forward the 3C concept of connection, content, and cooperation. Content is our priority. while through cooperation we will strengthen the pooling of excellent educational resources. In this way, we will better digitalize education. This 3C concept is the guideline of our work in digital education. We hope to pool digital talent and the teaching resources together. It's just like connecting all these pearls in order to make a pearl chain. And the platform over the past year has enjoyed the total number of visits exceeding 6.7 billion. Moreover, rural areas in China through this platform can enjoy excellent educational resources in Shanghai and Beijing. Through this way, many weaknesses can be dealt with through this platform. And in the past year, the total number of visits have exceeded about 26 billion and is now the largest repository of educational resources in the world. And UNESCO has given full credit to China. The Smart Education of China also won its prize. In order to build China into a big country with lifelong learning for all, the General Secretary further elaborated on this concept on May 29th group study session. He said that this is a breakthrough in China's education system. The digital education should play a guiding role in building China into a lifelong learning country, modernization of education, and other areas. We also implemented other projects like the MOOC application in Central and Western China. We have implemented about 190,000 MOOCs for Western China. A hybrid teaching has been implemented in Western China, and there are about 495 million visits to this website. When we held an application of digital education in Wuhan, a course of Tsinghua University about digitalization can be available to schools in Guizhou and Wuhan. Then students from these schools in these provinces and cities can actually have one classroom together. We often say that excellent educational resources and talent will move to southeastern China. But actually, there is a special climate in China's education system because many educational resources are moving to central and western China. Many excellent and top-class universities in Beijing, Shanghai, and eastern China can also have their resources in Western China, and they will partner with their counterparts in Western China to develop higher education. And there is also assistance from top-level universities in Eastern China to Western China's universities. We are making full use of digital resources, and this is a great contribution to our society. And going forward, we will double down our efforts in 4 aspects. First, we will build a national digital big data center, making it a great platform for resource supply. Then we will build it into a resource development and utilization center, a public service center, and application development center. This will better galvanize reform in education, serve students and teachers, and improve the capability of administration among schools. And this will also be a boost to our research ability increase in this era. Therefore, we are building this big data center. Second, big data will be a great boost to education and the teaching. What's the influence of AI and big data? Without the application of big data and other cutting-edge technologies, then the accuracy and efficiency of education in the modern era will be not that good. We will better empower education with big data, and we will better serve the well-rounded development of people through these technologies. And through big data, we will also better train teachers. Since last year, we have provided digital resources for teachers during the summer and the winter holiday. Therefore, we can better cultivate students and also train students and train teachers. And we have achieved fruitful results. For example, since this year, the empowerment of big data to rural areas have achieved fruitful results. For example, about 100 volunteers from 4 universities in big cities helped about 1,600 students in rural areas to make full use of digital resources. And this is a big improvement to the cultivation of students and training of teachers. And there are about 190 courses related to art and AI in the big data platform. Sometimes efficiency do exist in these courses. However, through big data platform, we will address this problem. Third, we will better provide education in public services. We have a public service platform in the education system. Besides courses, this platform will provide courses for the whole public. So far, at the end of June, we have provided about 95 sessions of employment meetings for students, and we have provided about 16.24 million jobs. I have also taken the question from the journalist of Wall Street about the university students' employment. Actually, for students who are in need, we have provided about 2 to 3% more jobs for these students. For students who are in need, we will give them a leg up. And for students who have different needs, we will give them different options. Besides this, the public service in the education system has also been boosted. We are also making full use of MOOCs, mini lectures, and VRs to develop efficient and robust online classrooms. Through digital education platforms, we can better improve the modernized education. It is not just helping students learn online. It is also a boost of public service. Fourth, strengthening cooperation with other countries. China's education always opens its door wide, and our experience should be shared to other countries, and we also encourage our counterparts to share their experience with us. Then students and people around the world will have access to more quality resources. and this will be a foundation for more exchanges. We also hope that through digital education, China will have exchanges with other counterparts in the world. Now, the prevailing trend is to promote modernized and digitalized education. We have lots of experience in this respect, and lots of problems also bubble to the surface. But we find that this is very important in building a strong education system, and this is a great support to build our society into a lifelong learning society for all. And in this respect, we will have an eye on education for the elder. We will build an open university, and we will provide a learning environment for all people in society. They don't need to go to classrooms. And we have implemented the reading program. Therefore, people can study and learn anytime and anywhere. And this is a great boost to a strong education system in China. However, we still need to look into this respect. Thank you for your question.
China Education Television. As we all know, top-notch universities are the main force of basic research and the source of major scientific and technological breakthroughs in China. How will the Ministry of Education coordinate and promote integration between science and education, build strong capacity for innovation, and help solve more stranglehold issues in key core technology? Thank you for your question. This question is very important. I would like to invite Vice Minister Wu Yan to answer your question. Thank you. As you said, top-notch universities are the main force of basic research and the source of major scientific and technological breakthroughs in China. Over the years, the Ministry of Education has encouraged universities to promote capacity for innovation and human resources training. We have achieved a number of breakthroughs and innovative outcomes in basic research, and we have focused our efforts on making breakthroughs in science and technology. For example, the sky whale dredger and high-temperature gas-cooled reactor, making important contributions to tackling stranglehold issues in core technologies. And to achieve breakthroughs, it is important to be results-oriented and problems-oriented. We have strengthened organization among universities in seeking breakthroughs. Recently, the Ministry of Education are working on an outline of science and technology, scientific and technological breakthroughs. And we will launch a project to support self-reliance and strength in science and technology, speed up work on organized research among universities, promote integration between science and education, and focus on innovation. Universities as the source of major scientific and technological breakthroughs. The most pressing task is to respond to the urgent needs of the country and address stranglehold issues in core technologies. Since last year, we have made a lot of efforts on self-reliance of science and technology and worked on the issues of shortages in scientific and technological breakthroughs and launched a number of projects to work on achieving breakthroughs. We have also strengthened integration of projects, platforms, and teams. In implementing major projects, we have sped up mobilization of resources, improved layouts, including platforms for breakthroughs, and the Engineering Research Center in the Ministry of Education, and built up a multidisciplinary team to forge synergy. We have also established an evaluation assessment mechanism that is suited for the organized scientific research, especially one with contribution and quality as the key indicators. At the same time, we have tilted resources such as talent plans and graduate student enrollment plans toward major research tasks. And in achieving breakthroughs on key technologies, we have accelerated the industrial application of key and core technological outcomes. We have taken the initiative to work with industries and enterprises, get enterprises and teachers on board, and to encourage them to make their contributions to achieving breakthroughs. We need to turn technologies into products and products into industries, and the potential into the driving force for industrial development, to open up new horizons in the close collaboration between industries, universities, and research institutes. We will seize the opportunity of the implementation of the strategic cooperation agreements between the ministry and the provinces, engaging cooperation with local party committees and governments, respond to the needs of the industries, and better integrate into regional economic and social development. And lastly, we also need to provide support for talent cultivation and improve the training of top-notch talent so that they can better do their work. Top-notch talent cultivation needs to be done in actual production. We will closely follow the reality of production, organize and encourage teachers and students to go to the front line of production, where they can study the actual problems and come up with concrete results. This year, we will carry out strategic cooperation with the National Natural Science Foundation of China. The foundation will provide funding at an earlier stage in R&D, and we will also increase support for outstanding doctoral students and launch a pilot program to subsidize outstanding undergraduates and explore new methods for talent cultivation. We will implement the National Strategic Action for training top-notch talent in basic disciplines and explore the establishment of a national innovation special zone for integration of science and education, accelerate the building of areas with strategic shortages, and improve the ability and quality of independent training of talent. Next question, please. As pointed out in the report of the 20th CPC National Congress, China will advance comprehensive reform in education and refine the systems of school management and educational assessments. What steps will the ministry take to improve the assessment system? The education evaluation is related to the direction of education development. Evaluation is to education orientation as baton is to traffic. On September 28, 2020, the CPC Central Committee and the State Council issued the overall plan for deepening educational evaluation reform in the new era, making comprehensive deployment to address the long-standing issues of education focusing only on grades, enrollment, diplomas, papers, and titles. General Secretary Xi Jinping attaches great importance to the reform of education evaluation and emphasizes that the implementation of the overall plan should be well delivered. At the 5th Collective Study Session of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, General Secretary Xi Jinping emphasized the importance of deepening educational evaluation reform in the new era and establishing an education evaluation system with multiple participants in line with China's reality and up to international standards. Since the issuance of the overall plan, our ministry, together with relevant departments, have adopted multiple measures to address the above-mentioned issues. And we have achieved some progress so far and built extensive consensus. The supporting policies at the national level have gradually improved. Educational institutions across the country have accumulated a number of good experiences and practices. The utilitarian tendency in education has been effectively contained. And now the reform has entered a critical period of in-depth implementation with more substantive progress. Going forward, we will stay committed to the goal of building a leading country in education. And give priority to the reform of education evaluation system. We will advance reforms on educational methods, school models, management systems, and guarantee mechanisms, and accelerate the establishment of an education evaluation system. First, we will raise public awareness and guide the society to establish a scientific view of the talent cultivation and education. Second, we will improve supporting policies, establish a sound evaluation system that connects the upper and lower ends. Third, we will highlight the typical cases, give play to the primary level to drive reform and innovation and promote successful cases. Fourth, we will strengthen supervision and rectification. We will enhance supervision and monitoring regarding the matters prohibited in the overall plan. Fifth, we will create a sound environment. We will ensure environment featuring equality in employment, positive public opinion, harmonious families, and honesty, so as to provide favorable conditions for the smooth advancement of the reform. Thank you.
With Tianmu News, you have mentioned vocational education. I found that there are new reforms in vocational education, for example, city-specific industrial teaching integration and industrial teaching integration. And what are your concrete steps in future vocational education? Thank you for your question. We will answer your question from Vice Minister Wu Yan. The CPC Central Committee attaches great importance to vocational education. The report to the 20th People's Congress stressed that we will promote collaborative innovation in vocational education, higher education, and continuing education, and promote integration between vocational education and general education, between industry and education, and between science and education, chartering a way forward for us. Moreover, the General Office of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council unveiled opinions on deepening the reform of modern vocational education system. And our major goal of building a vocational education is to build a modern vocational education system. And centered on these targets, there are actually one mainstay and 5 focuses. As regard to this one mainstay, my ministry and provincial education departments will explore new models, and we encourage universities and schools to take into consideration demands of their provinces and our national policy in order to create a tailor-made and personalized vocational education system based on their own provinces. We also have two aspects. First, we will focus on specific industrial and teaching integration. We will pool resources from excellent industries. And the building of vocational schools will be taken into consideration for the cultivation of students. And we will build an industrial and teaching integration with cultivation of talents, creative employment, and economic high-quality growth of industries. Second aspect, we will zoom in on key industries. Important industries on the supply chain will play a lead role in pooling resources of the upper end and the lower end of the supply chain in order to integrate industrial and teaching resources where leading enterprises, high-level universities, and vocational schools will play a bigger role. There are also 5 focuses. First one, vocational schools need to improve their teaching quality. We will focus on 4 cores. First, we will create core courses, textbooks, teachers, and other aspects. In this way, new technologies and methods will be applied in teaching. Digital empowerment will also play a role in improving the quality of talents. Second, we will build an academic and vocational teacher teaching system. We will improve the system of teacher training. In this way, teachers from schools and teachers from companies will teach at classrooms together. Third, we will build an industrial and teaching center for practices. We will align the teaching with the frontline developments of industries. We will build open industrial teaching center for practices with consideration of teaching, training, and the internship of students. At the same time, this thing will also be applied in the R&D of companies. Fourth, help students better develop themselves, improve the vocational education examination system. And this system will be deepened and will also enjoy new substances. Fifth, we will implement a 5-year vocational and secondary education through exchanges and cooperation with our international counterparts. Resources from our international counterparts will be introduced to China. At the same time, we also encourage Chinese universities and vocational schools to go to other countries. For example, Luban Workshop and Confucius Institutes have global influence. We encourage these programs to better be applied in other countries, especially countries in the Belt and Road Initiative cooperation. In this way, we will introduce more excellent equipment, teaching resources, and courses to China. We will also train teachers, especially local teachers in foreign countries of the Belt and Road Cooperation. Their quality of teachers will also be improved. Thank you. Next question, please.
China News Service. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that it is necessary to improve the strategy of opening up of education and coordinate the tasks of bringing in and going out. He also stressed that we should vigorously promote the brand of study in China. How does the Ministry of Education view the current situation of educational opening up, and what are the main considerations? Thank you. I'd like to invite Minister Liu to answer your question. Openness and cooperation is the only way to build a leading country in education. The CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core attaches great importance to educational opening up. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping has stated on a number of major occasions that China will expand the opening up of education and stressed that it is important to promote the modernization of education and to unswervingly open up to the world and strengthen mutual accommodation, mutual learning, and connection with other countries. At the 5th Collective Study Session, he once again made important deployment on the opening up of education, which provided a fundamental basis for the work in the new era. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, our ministry has actively promoted educational exchanges and cooperation with other countries and made positive progress. The overall layout of educational opening up has been improved, and the reform to promote opening up has been advanced. China's participation in global education governance has been deepened, and achievements have been made in educational cooperation and cultural exchanges. Here are some data I'd like to share with you. China has signed agreements on mutual recognition of academic degrees with 58 countries and regions. Chinese is taught in more than 180 countries and regions around the world, and nearly 200 million people have learned and spoken Chinese. More than 1.3 million Chinese students have studied in more than 100 countries across the world. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the number of Chinese students who finished their studies and returned to China is more than 80% of that of the Chinese students going abroad for studies. Currently, the Ministry of Education is earnestly studying and implementing the guiding principles of the important speech of General Secretary Xi Jinping made at the 5th Collective Study Session and is speeding up work on the development of the outline of the plan for building China into a leading country in education. Going forward, we will follow the strategic deployment by the CPC Central Committee and make positive contributions to building China into an important world education center with strong influence. And due to time restrictions, we will take 2 more questions from the floor. Thank you. Hong Kong Bohemia Magazine. To improve education, we should first improve the quality of teachers. Building the teaching workforce is the most important task to build China into a leading country in education. What achievements have been made in this regard? What steps will be taken next? Thank you for your question. I would like to invite Mr. Deng to answer your question. Thank you for your question. As you said, to improve education, we should first improve the quality of teachers. Teachers are the primary resources for development of education. General Secretary attaches great importance to work in this area. And over the years, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, the Ministry of Education has deepened the reform of building the teaching workforce in the new era. The number and quality of teachers have both increased. The total number of full-time teachers in China has increased from 14.629 million to 18.804 million from 2012 to 2022. And 76.01% of rural teachers with a bachelor's degree or above are now teaching in compulsory education. 225 normal colleges are training teachers, together with 565 non-normal colleges. Primary and secondary school staffing at provincial and county levels have met relevant standards. China has awarded the title of People's Teacher to Yu Wei Xinhua Gao Mingxuan and the July 1st medal to Zhang Guimei, and the title of Model of the Times to Li Baoguo, Huang Danian, Zhang Yugun, Chen Liqun, 刘荣坦、万步言
一批教师
among other
为时代
teachers.
楷模。应该说，这些年以来，教师的政治地
So
位
we can see that the political, social, and occupational status of teachers are on the
广
rise.
大教师潜心育人，乐教爱生，
Teachers
甘于奉献，
really commit themselves
为
to
党
teaching
和
the
国家
students
事业做出了最大
and
贡献
have。made important contributions to the cause of the party and the country.
教师的
As the
地位和
times
作用
progress, the status and the role of teachers are all the
为
more
了支撑教育强国
outstanding.
建设，
To build China into a leading country in education, we
高质
have
量教师
launched
队伍建
the
设
strategic
战略工
project
程
building high-quality teaching
主要
workforce
从
with
6个方
efforts
面发
on
力。
6 areas.
一是加
First,
强师德师风建设，
We will
将
improve
高位
teachers'
引领
ethics.
与
We will
底线
combine
管控
guidance
相结
with
合，
restrictions,
建立教师
establish
共同
common
价值
values
追求，
and pursuit of teachers,
坚持师德违规零容忍，
and
引导广大教师
and adopt a
自律
zero-tolerant
自强，
approach to investigating and
二是
punishing teachers that violate work ethics.
高水平
Second,
综合大学
We will
培养优
launch
秀中小学教师的
the
国优计
program
划，
of training
推动
primary and
双一流建设
secondary
高校为代
school,
表
school
的
teachers
高
at
水平
universities
综
and
合大学
colleges.
开展科学类课程教师培养。
We will call on comprehensive and
三是
sci-tech
坚持
universities
师
to
范
carry
院校
out teachers'
教师
training.
教育第一职责，实施
And third,
师
we
范教
will
育协同
urge
提质计
normal,
划，
normal
优化师范
universities
生公费
to
教育
fulfill
政策
their responsibility
深化
of training
实施优
teachers.
势计划。四是提升
Fourth,
教师的教书育人能力，
We will improve
强化
teachers'
高层次中小学
capabilities
教师
for
培养，
education.
改革国培计划，
We will conduct
提升中
reforms
小学教师科学素养，
to
实施
improve
教师
the
发
teaching
展数字化
capabilities
行
of
动，
teachers at primary and
实
secondary
施名师
schools.
名将名校长培
We
养
will
计划，
carry out a
加强高校教师培训，
campaign to train famous teachers,
全国
craftsmen,
高
and
校
principals,
黄大年式教师团队示
and
范创建，
establish teachers' teams
五是
like the one led by the
优
famous
化教师
scientist
管理
Huang Danian.
和资源配置，
We will also,
着力
fifth, we
应
will
对人
improve
口发
the
展新态势，
resources
以
allocation
国家基
in
础教育
teachers'
教师
training.
队伍建设改革试点为抓手，推进培
Based
养
on the
补充
pilot reform of the development of national basic education teachers team,
待遇
we will promote
岗位
comprehensive
综合改革，
reform of training, staffing, titles,
适应
benefits,
小班
and
化
positions,
个性
and
化
meet
教
the
学需要，
needs of small
优
classes
化
and
教师
personalized
资源
training,
配置，
improve
将乡村教
resources
师队伍建设
allocation,
摆
and
在重要位置，
prioritize the buildup of
出台
teachers' teams
职业
in
学
rural
校
areas.
兼职教师管理办法，
We'll also
深化高校教
formulate
师考核评价改革，
regulations
实施国家引领
on
教师行动、
teachers'
和
teams,
教育人才
part-time
组团式
teachers'
帮扶
teams,
等人才支教计划。
and other
六是
programs
加大
to
各级各
support
类教师
teachers' training.
待遇保障，
Six, we will
巩
ensure
固
that
义务教育
teachers
教
get
师
decent
平均
pay.
工资收入水平不低
We
于
will
当
ensure
地
that
公务
the
员平
average
均工资收入水平
income
成果
of teachers is no less than the average
乡村 教
income
师
level
生
of the
活补助
society,
政策，
and improve the
强化教师
system
住
for
房保障，
subsidies for
加
teachers.
强乡村教师周转宿舍建设。
We'll also build
大家知道，总书记
dormitories for
多次
teachers in rural
多
areas.
次讲过，
General
一个
Secretary
人
Xi
一生
Jinping
遇到好老
stated
师
on multiple
这是一个
occasions
人的
that
幸运，
a good
一个
teacher
学校
is a treasure
拥有好
for
老师
anyone,
这是这个学校的光荣，
and also a
一个
treasure
民族
for
拥
the
有
school,
源源不断的好老师，这是这个民族
and
发
the
展的
constant inflow of
根本依靠，
teachers
未来
will
依
be
托。
the
我们教育
underpinning
部
for the future development of a country and a nation.
关于加强教师队伍建设的
We need to
决策
follow
部署
through on
采取更
the
加有力
deployment
的
and the
措施，
arrangement of the
建
CPC Central
强新时
Committee
代
on
教师队伍建
improving
设
the quality
大力弘扬
and teaching
尊
capabilities
师
of
重教
teachers.
社会风尚，
We will promote
鼓励和吸引
the
更多的优
environment
秀人
of
才，
respecting the teachers
要热心从教，精
and
心从教，
encourage teachers
长期从教，
to devote
终
themselves
身从教。
to
谢谢
teaching.
大家。
Thank you.
好，最后一个问题，前排那位女士。
From Haibao, we know that what kind of people we should cultivate, how and for whom, these are fundamental issues that education must address. And what's your considerations and new steps in this respect? Thank you for your question. This is a follow-up question on the fundamental issues that education must address. This is a very good question. We are now implementing requirements of the CPC Central Committee. Now we are implementing the guideline of education. We often say that we need to jump out of the box in order to address these issues. First of all, we need to focus on modernization.
That's Chinese authorities briefing the media on the government's efforts on reforming and strengthening the country's educational sectors. For some more discussion, let's bring in our guest Wang Yan, the director of Chinese Society of Educational Development Strategy. Thank you for joining us, Professor Wang. So, as you have heard from the press conference, the government cited efforts to ensure a fair and quality education for every child. So, what areas does China need to improve on to achieve that goal?
Actually, this is a starting point of a journey of a system of education reform in the new era, and it will inform a system-wide reform involving the education sectors across the board, including the pre-primary education, primary education, secondary education, tertiary education, vocational and technical education, lifelong learning, etc. So overall, the aim is to achieve inclusive and quality education for all through a more open and flexible education system that would work more effectively and efficiently, and that will contribute to the overall goal of high quality development and building a nation modernization with Chinese characteristics.
Well, Professor Wang, in the press conference, a foreign journalist raised question on how to address the unemployment issue of college graduates. So what do you think are the key areas the government needs to work on to address the unemployment rate?
Actually, the worldwide, the youth unemployment has been a big challenge. And also to ensure the employment of the university graduates has been the priority of Chinese government, and in particular means education of education. So the first is the government has made great effort to create more job opportunities for these tertiary graduates. And the second is to provide the quality services that could facilitate the students' job funding, job hunting processes, such as the campus-based job fair and students' employment consultancy services, and also the internship opportunities. In particular, I would like to mention that government has made efforts to support the students from the low socioeconomic status, that is from the students, especially from the poor areas, with the opportunities for employment in combination with the developmental needs of the government. For example, there is a new scheme of the China Rural Doctor Scheme that will support the students from lower socioeconomic status to work in the rural areas, and this on one hand provided more opportunities, job opportunities for the students from rural areas. On the other hand, has addressed the needs for the doctors in countryside.
Well, as you've mentioned, high quality development or high quality education are definitely the two keywords mentioned during the press conference. So how is high quality development reflected in education in your analysis?
The first is the development of the guideline or the formulation of the guideline for the leading country in education actually aims at the building a high quality education system to support the high quality development. The high quality education system means the delivery education in a more effective and more efficient way with the new modalities of the school operation and also the education administration that will break through all the barriers and constraints in conceptually and administratively and structurally, and also to ensure the delivery education in all aspects aligned with the quality development. The second is China has just launched a new tripartite development strategy of science, technology, education, and talents to ensure the synergy of the development. And last but not least, as we can see, the formulation of the guideline actually is a future-oriented strategy that not only align with all aspects of the quality development in each section of this guideline, but also overall will serve the purpose of the quality development from the national perspective.
And also the development of technical personnel is one of China's main focuses in education. Why is that?
Well, first of all, worldwide, there is the emerging role of the technology in transforming education. And in particular, the role of the automation, artificial intelligence as the catalyst of the innovation in education to improve the quality and efficiency of education delivery. And the second is China has taken education, science, technology, and human resources as the foundational and the strategic pillars for building a modern socialist country. And so technology is now an essential element of the overall strategy for modernization. And then the third is fostering the technical personnel actually is a key to resolve the skill mismatch. That is to narrow or close the gap between what the education sector provides and what the labor market demands, and also meanwhile to accelerate the development and innovation, and also through narrowing such gap and provides the more quality education access and also quality employment opportunities for the tertiary graduates will achieve the goal of the people's well-being.
Thank you very much. That's our studio guest, Wang Yan, the director of Chinese Society of Educational Development Strategy. Appreciate it. Well, that's it for The World Today. I'm Hona. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.